Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with episode 10 of Vox Machina. So sorry if I seem a little dazed. I just woke up, so just trying to get to as much as I can. But we are really moving into what has to be the end game. Not only because of only two episodes after this one being left, but also just because of what's been happening. Everything's kind of leading to the fact that they're infiltrating the castle. And there's not really anything else at this point to go through prior to taking out the Briarwoods. There's only one more member on Percy's list, and I'm thinking it's this woman they found in the cell at the end of the last episode who was trying to coerce them into letting her out. Because we know it was a woman. And I'm talking besides the Briarwoods, that there are two people left, or there's one person left on his list besides the Briarwoods. So I'm definitely interested to see where this episode goes. I assume we're going to take care of her in this episode and everything, see what she does and all, and next episode we'll get into the Briarwood stuff more directly. I'm just wondering how they're going to end up defeating them. Pike is obviously going to be a huge help with her holy powers and everything. But other than that, it's just hard to say exactly what's going to happen. But I'm also interested to see what this woman can do. Like, why is she on the list? Like, what did she do to Percy? Because we actually haven't heard anything really about her yet. And on top of that, what are her abilities? So it's going to be interesting to see. And I have hopes that this just continues to be as good as this arc has been. But I have faith that it will. I do. So, all of that being said, though, we're just going to get started and see what we got in store. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So yeah, as I was saying in the reaction, there are multiple reactors I've been watching who had already been guessing that Cassandra was like a spy or was going to turn on them or whatnot. And if you remember, I was saying that was probably not the case simply because of Delilah Briarwood's reaction. But I think maybe the reaction now it was more due in fact to just how well the enemy, or our heroes, were doing, as well as their defeat over valuable assets, we'll put it, for the Briarwoods, such as Professor Anders. I think it was more due to that than anything. The fact that they were succeeding at every turn. That's why Delilah was so quick to raise the dead and everything. Why she was so upset. So it's pretty interesting. Just we have Cassandra, who's very clearly being mind controlled. Like it's blatantly obvious, especially with the glow in her eyes. She's being mind controlled and has turned against them because of that. Now, the question is, was she being mind controlled the entire time? Or did that only happen somewhat recently? I don't think she was, or rather, instead of just being mind controlled recently, like, was it like activated? Because it looks like it can be activated as long as it had happened before. Because that's what happened with Vax. He had been like predisposed to the mind control prior, during their first fight with the Briarwoods back in back in their base town. And so now, the instant they come up, Silas just activates it. So I'm wondering if he did that to her as well. Like, because she was over on the other side of the room before anybody even noticed. It's very possible Silas could have come up to her, activated it by looking into her eyes, and then, like, retreated to make a dramatic entrance. He's a vampire. He makes dramatic entrances. It's part of the gig. So it's perfectly reasonable that that is what could have happened. Or she might have been under the control the entire time. It's also very possible. But I'm just wondering, if she had been, and if she had been a planned ally for this purpose from the beginning, then Anders, like, trying to kill her and nearly doing so, the Briarwoods probably wouldn't have liked that. not if she was meant to be like a major ally this entire time. I'm thinking it is what I was thinking before. Phrasing. I'm thinking that she was predisposed but not actually controlled yet. Like, when they were in there, maybe she was wandering around or whatnot, looking for something, or even maybe she was closer to them at first, and, like, maybe glanced over in a direction, and Silas was there and just, like, looked at her and activated it through the darkness. That's possible. But I think it was just activated just now. That's my thoughts on it. Or at least semi-recently. Like within the time frame of this episode, I mean. I don't think she's been under, like, completely under that control the entire time. The acid trap, pretty standard shit. Obviously freaky, but they got out of it because Grog is a psychopath. Like, Jesus fuck, dude. It's like, we know you're tough, but my God. Like, that acid was very clearly just eating at his body really fucking quickly. He would have just entirely died if it weren't for Pike. Entirely. And again, as I said in the reaction, the fact that, like, his biggest concern, one, is that his dick is alright, and then two, that when asked about it, Pike just casually looks over at it for him and confirms that it's okay. It's just like, one, you know she's seen his junk before. Two, I ship them. I'm sorry, I do. There is legit chemistry there. They're fucking adorable together. And again, the casual way she just looked over at his junk is just, like, wild to me. It's like, who does that? Unless you're that kind of close. It's just, yeah, I ship them just as much as I do with Vax and Keyleth. It's just there. It's just obvious. There is that chemistry. The thing is, I don't think they view each other in that way, though. They see each other as best friends. But there is the chemistry, so it's like, it very much comes across as, it very much comes across that they have feelings for each other. They just don't entirely realize it. And I'm not even saying it's gonna happen, because I have no fucking clue. But I'm saying that if it does happen, I called it. And it's not a surprise at all, because it's blatantly obvious. Funny enough, though, usually I tend to be right on these things. Even with, like, old classic anime and stuff, like, when people are, like, shipping Naruto with Sakura in that series, I'm like, no. It's very blatantly clear he's going to end up with Hinata. It's like, that's just super obvious from the writing, the dialogue, everything surrounding their characters. And I ended up being right. And people were pissy because they thought that it made more sense for him to end up with Sakura, just because I guess she's the main female character, which is a stupid argument. because there just wasn't really much of anything romantic there. And the same goes for Bleach. Everyone thought Ichigo should have ended up with Rukia, but right from the start, it's like it's blatantly obvious to me that he was always going to end up with Orihime. It's like that was never in question. Because that's how the writing, the dialogue, everything was working. That's exactly what the series was building up to. The idea of him ending up with Rukia would have just made no sense. Not to mention, it would have been a little creepy. Because to be fair, Rukia she's basically an adult. She's a spirit who's thousands of years old, at the least. Probably a lot older than that. And Ichigo is a teenage boy. Having Ichigo end up with her would have been honestly kind of fucking weird. And I never saw any chemistry with them, and that's part of the reason why. Their age gap is so massive. And especially with Ichigo being just a teenager. It's like, there was never anything there. There just wasn't. But him and Orihime had exceptional chemistry right from the start. And it was blatantly obvious from the writing that they were always meant to end up together. So, the fact that I was so easily correct on those things, because I saw the chemistry and the writing and character work pointing in that direction, it's what I'm seeing with Pike and Grog now. Like, I couldn't see really either of them ending up with anyone else. That's not to say it couldn't happen, it's just I don't see it. I don't see that kind of chemistry with anyone else. Like, even with the joke, when Scanlan asked Pike to marry him, and she's like, sure, let's do it right now. It's like, obviously that was just a joke. That was just a gag. I don't even think Scanlan meant it. Like, he was just, like, enamored by her ability and whatnot, and just coming in the nick of time to save them. It's like, it wasn't like an actual romantic interest. And she was obviously messing with him. Like even when she said yes, he was, like, really surprised. Like, wait, what? Really? And her response was like, no, you idiot. It's like it's very clear, like a little friendly joke with each other. There's not really any chemistry there. Scanlan doesn't really have any chemistry with any of our main crew. Obviously, we have Vax and Keyleth who have chemistry with each other. Percy has a little chemistry with Keyleth as well, but nowhere near enough to really say anything with. And definitely not enough to compare when you have Keyleth and Vax. Vex doesn't have chemistry with anyone. She doesn't even have chemistry with her brother. Like, not romantic, but, you know, she doesn't even have, like, good familial chemistry with her brother. Honestly, half the time it almost seems like she hates him the way she treats him. They don't feel like siblings to me. They feel like almost enemies. And that's mostly on Vex's part. Vex tries to be better. Vex is better. Not going to get into all of that here, though. Let's just say she is my least favorite member of the crew. Yeah, it's just, I think that the ones with the most chemistry are Vax and Keyleth, and then you have Pike and Grog. Just easily. Now, I still don't trust Anna Ripley. I think that she is still a bad guy, and that this is all a ruse. Even with the Briarwoods words and everything, when they came to, you know, do the acid and steal away the siblings, you know, I think that was part of it. I think Anna's part of the plan. Hell, even her losing her arm might be part of the plan. And that this is all just a way to get at them. Hell, I think they probably expected them to survive the acid trap. So yeah, I definitely think they're expecting Vox Machina to make their way to them still. Uh, but we'll see. But yeah, I don't trust Anna. Like, she's helping them, but I think she's just. I think she's more the one who led them into this trap than Cassandra. Um, for one, Cassandra didn't really lead them here. She did. Cassandra, again, I still think was activated in that room. So yeah, Anna probably led them here for the trap, and even though she was trapped too, she was probably either mind controlled as well, or just crazy and willing to give her life to get rid of the Briarwood's enemies. Oh. Or hell, for all we know, maybe she had another way out of there. I mean, we don't know. But yeah, I don't trust her. I don't have a reason to trust her still. I'm kind of with Percy on that. Um, but nonetheless, I am excited to see where this goes in the two-part finale. Now, I was kind of mulling over the question of should I do the two-part finale together or separately? Because it was very obvious this was leading to a big finale in the final two episodes. So I've been kind of mulling it over, and I think I'm probably going to do them together because it's going to feel incomplete if I just do the first one and then wait a week or two or whatever, however long I end up taking. It's going to feel incomplete and like leave me hanging. And it's like, don't get me wrong, I'm fine with cliffhangers and I'm fine with doing episodes weekly or whatnot just because I think the pacing and everything helps out with the overall experience of watching the series. But with a two-parter, if you only watch the first part, again, it feels incomplete. It feels like you're missing something because the two episodes are meant to be together. So if you watch them separately, you're basically watching half of an episode. It's the equivalent of that. It's the equivalent of starting a movie, pausing part way through, and then not coming back to it till another day or week or something. And for me personally, it bothers me to do stuff like that. Even if I'm just like pausing a movie or something to go to the bathroom, that bothers me. Because it just makes it feel incomplete and nags at my mind. It's nothing like when you're like when you're watching something and you have to wait a week for the next episode. Because even if it's a cliffhanger, it feels intentional, it feels right that you're supposed to do that. It's the two-parters that change that feeling, basically. Um, but yeah, I'm I'm very much interested to see how this ends. Obviously, we're going to have a big battle between the forces of good and evil, and obviously, Vox Machina will, in the end, succeed, and they will free Whitestone. I don't know if the rebels who are infiltrating now, the townspeople, I don't know if they're going to do very well in this, but I think they're just fighting random soldiers, so maybe. Um, but yeah, it's very clear that the Briarwoods are trying to probably steal the souls of everyone in the town with the ziggurat. Like that's my guess. They're definitely planning to do something with everyone still in the town. That's very clear. And the ziggurat, like stealing souls, it's like just sounds about right to me. Um, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm definitely excited to find out, to experience this. Um, I will say that I'm very much leaning towards, and unless the finale changes my mind on this, I'm just going to say this is how it's going to work as of now. Unless the finale changes my mind on this, we are not going to be going straight into season 2. We are going to be taking a break from this series, and we'll do a different poll series first. So, usually that means I would announce. In fact, no, we're going to announce it. I was going to say, usually that would mean I would announce in the penultimate reaction to the season. And yeah, we're going to do that. So we're going to announce the poll for the next show to follow up season 1 of Vox Machina today. I will reveal the winner in the final video of season 1, which will be the final 2 episodes. And that will just directly follow it. Season 2 will come after the next poll show. So we're going to have the next poll show. And then once that finishes, instead of doing another poll, we'll just come right back to Vox Machina. I think that's the best way to do this. I'm just going to need a break. Yeah, I was going to say, like, we'll wait to see how the last episode makes me feel, if that changes my mind. But you know what? We're not going to do that. We're going to take a break. I think it's just the best idea. So, I have my list here. Let me get it up real quick. There it is. Okay, so here are your options for the next poll. The poll will be up on the channel, or the on the main channel in the community tab. That's what it's called. It will be up on the community tab right away. I'm also going to be making another video to announce it for everyone who doesn't watch this. But yeah. So please vote on it. And I will announce the winner by the time I do the next video for Vox Machina Season 1. So, here are your choices. We have a couple returning items on the list. We have Hellbound still on the list as our number 1 option. Hellbound, just as a reminder, is a Netflix series, I believe South Korean, and I believe it has something to do with, well, demons. I don't know all the details, but that's about what I know. Our second returning one that was on the list before is Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, the series. So yeah, this is a series based off of the web show of the same name, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. It's basically like puppets meets existential dread, I guess you could put it. It's really wild. If you haven't seen the web series, I would suggest checking it out. And I don't know exactly what this series is going to be like, but I definitely want to find out. But our third and newest option on the list is Kaleidoscope. This is another Netflix series, and it is an interesting one because it can apparently be watched in any order. The episodes are not, like, numbered, but there is, like, an order if you want to watch it chronologically. There's orders if you want to watch it to certain viewpoints and whatnot. And I know it stars Giancarlo Esposito from Breaking Bad fame. So that's always a big plus, too. Also, I believe it's a heist series. I'm not 100% sure on that, though, but I believe it is. So yeah, there are your options. We have Hellbound, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, the series, and Kaleidoscope. So all 3 of those will be on the poll, once again, in the community tab on the channel. So you can go there right away, right as you're watching this, and vote. That all being said, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode of The Legend of Vox Machina? And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.